podcast. This is going to be night 2, I guess I would say. We have another special guest with us. We promoted last week, and he's with us now. K9, KosherNine.
What's up? Thank you guys for having me.
Hey,
I'm KosherNine. Yep.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. We had last week. We had your frequent collaborator Joshua the Militant on.
Yeah, that's my guy. That's my guy. Shout out Joshua the Militant.
And this is our second artist on our way to Nighttime is Our Time.
That's right.
That's fire. Right. That's fire. I appreciate you guys for having me on.
Is this going to be your first show?
Yeah. So this is my debut show as like an artist coming out. So yeah, it's my first everything. Really.
That's exciting. And what about, is this your first interview type thing?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you guys are popping my cherry when it comes to the whole. You guys are taking my card away.
Oh. Hey, well, we're glad to be your debut. You know, this is your debut as an artist, and on your podcast debut. You know, you're starting on TOTB, and then you'll be on Joe Rogan before you know it.
I hope so. I don't know. Yeah. I might need to do some ayahuasca before that one. Stay on that type of time.
Salvia.
Yeah, literally.
And much like the last episode with JTM, if you haven't seen it, it was a great episode. Please go and check it out.
Check that out.
We're going to talk about something that's been going on in the story before we get to know KosherNine a little bit, just to break the ice. You know, we get to feel each other out a little bit. No homo. And
no Diddy.
No pause, as they say. And you know, we still want to keep the identity of the show, which is talking about degenerates.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So I don't know about you guys, but what I've been noticing recently is ever since gambling or sports betting has become legal in most states, every sport or every major sports network has a bookmaking deal. Even the sports themselves. The NFL got one with DraftKings and FanDuel, and they're worth billions and billions of dollars. ESPN, I was watching ESPN the other day, and I saw a thing for ESPN Bet, right? It was like on the ticker, and I'm like, I can't believe ESPN is doing this. Like, I had a lot of respect for them, but now they have their own bookmaking service to get that money, and we have the results from what the sports betting industry made last year. They if I gave you guys a guess to guess how much the money did the sports betting industry make, how much do you think they brought in revenue?
I don't know, they're pretty big. I'm gonna say like at least like $10 billion.
You're saying $10 billion?
I think so.
In a whole year?
Yeah, in all of 2023. All of 2023.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, a couple billion. It has to be. Yeah, like there's so many people
like
I know.
20 billion, man. 20 billion.
You say 20 billion in 2023.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, around 20. I wouldn't even be surprised if they hit like 30, 40. I don't know. That's a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's very, very high. I'm assuming it's going to be that way this year, but so far it's 11 billion. It was 11 billion.
Shit.
It's still insane.
That's a crazy amount of money.
It's a lot of active degeneracy going on, you know, within the sports fandoms.
A lot of losing, I bet.
Oh yeah.
Broken families.
Hey, you know what?
Dysfunctional men and women.
A lot of betting the rent and the rent not showing up anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
A lot of homeless after that one right there.
A lot of being ashamed to tell your family what your real job is, you know. But yeah, so it was $11 billion in sports revenue, and because of this uptick in betting, there's also been an uptick in players betting themselves. And as you know, there's been a ban or a policy in all these major sports networks to keep the integrity of the sport going on, that if you bet on any sport, particularly the one you play in, you're usually banned.
Mm-hmm.
But they haven't been getting banned. They've been getting suspended. And we've seen it except for Jonte Porter. Jonte Porter was a player for the Raptors, I believe.
Yeah,
he was a point guard for the Raptors. He's just been banned for life. Never coming back to the NBA. He is now in the same company as Pete Rose, being banned for life from the MLB for betting on his team, because there was evidence that he sat out games, or during games he would miss minutes to meet the parlay of some people who were betting on him. So he used a middleman. We just went through this a few weeks ago with Shohei Ohtani, who was also in the biggest scandals in the MLB in their history so far, which in that episode we had said that the amount of money that was made for Ipe Mizuhara, or was stolen from Shohei by Ipe Mizuhara, was $4.5 million. That's what we were
Yeah.
told by ESPN. The feds got involved, and and we found out that it's $16 million he stole from Shohei Ohtani. And I don't know how Shohei does not realize that he's being
He's
fisted
just
like
too
that.
rich, dude. How do you not know the $16 million missing in your bank account? That's
And
insane.
we're waiting before we update the story on an actual episode again. We have from what the feds found out that there were also calls to the bank, to Shohei's bank, by Ipe impersonating Shohei. So that is something I'm waiting for before we cover it again. I want to hear
Yeah.
these calls myself, and I want to see how bad and how degenerate they can really get.
Yeah.
So we have Shohei or Ipe Mizuhara. We have Jonte Porter. We've had some players from the MLS and players from the Falcons. One of the players who was banned for 2 years was recently reinstated, and I'm assuming it's because his betting wasn't that bad. He showed the receipts. He still had the receipts from his bets, and he bet on his team, which was the Falcons. They were the worst team in the NFL. He bet on them to win every time. So maybe that he also had alcohol issues.
Mhm.
So that's
Yeah. That makes sense.
he had that. So maybe that's why they reinstated him, because he often made these bets when he was intoxicated, and he didn't bet against his team to lose. He bet on them to win, despite knowing that they were going to lose. He knew that they were going to lose because
What was his plan?
to still bet, I guess, for the
Just
fun
to
of
bet.
betting.
Just a bet.
Maybe he
That's
thought
when it comes to addiction, right?
it comes to addiction, and maybe because they were such a bad team, if they did win, he would make much more money than if they
for
lost.
sure.
And he did not make that money. He just did not make it because they lost. Obviously, they lost. And the reason why I bring this story to the table is because I want to ask you guys on your opinion on sports betting and players betting, and then why is it fair for these big major league sports to embrace betting but ban it on their players? It's a little hypocritical in my opinion. So what's your guys' opinion on sports betting?
To be honest, I honestly think that sports betting, it's one, I do believe it's an addiction. There is people that I know and surround myself with that do sports bet, and kind of just like, you could tell that their mood completely changes based on the picks that they make or how somebody's playing in the game. And honestly, like the whole Jonte Porter situation, like I honestly don't think he must have thought he was Michael Jordan, because Michael Jordan was the only player that kind of like gambled on himself and like swept it under the rug. I think he went and played baseball for a bit and then just came back. It was like, oh yeah, I'm on the Wizards now or something like that. So I don't know. Other than that, I think it's fun. It's a fun thing to do if you have just money to. But if you're financially not stable, do not hop on Prize Picks. I promise you that $5 parlay is not gonna hit every time.
Yeah, that's good advice. Only bet what you're willing to lose.
Literally.
Yeah.
Only bet what you're willing to lose.
Or just if you're rich.
Yeah.
I agree, man.
Yeah.
Like these gentlemen here. You have any experience with sports betting? Like anybody? You know?
Actually, no. I've never done it. I've only read about it. I know it's what is it, like 28 states where it's legal in?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely
No,
not
actually,
in California.
I think it's legal in 47 states. There's only 3
really?
holdouts, which one of us is California.
California.
Yeah, which
Okay.
Ibe Mizuhara still did it in California,
Yeah.
which is why he's under Fed
Oh, man.
investigation.
I think it's fun. Yeah, sports betting is cool. I mean, people can make a lot of money, definitely lose a lot of money. Again, it's just leaving it up to chance, 50-50. I think it's all right.
Yeah, and I will say, because I'm not a sports bettor, but I did used to play a lot of fantasy games. And you do feel like when the players that are on your fantasy teams are playing your home teams that you like, it kind of ruins your mood as a fan. Like
Yeah.
you want to win the game as both the fantasy owner and as the team of the fan of the team.
Yeah.
So like if you're the Lakers and you're playing Stephen Curry and you got Steph on your team, and you kind of want him to drop 30, but none of the other Warriors, you don't want them to score. You just want like Curry to drop 62, and then just have everybody else get washed. You know?
Basically it's like, oh, fucking Klay Thompson shot a 3 when he could have passed it out to Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Like why are you hating on
Yeah.
Klay Thompson? That's
For
his
no
job.
reason,
It doesn't have to shoot a 3. So
Where every time the Lakers make scores, you're like, yeah, and then the Warriors, when Steph hits a three, you have to kind of say like, but it kind of
like,
it interrupts your experience as a fan.
Yeah.
I do believe that because I experienced that myself. But I don't think there's anything wrong with betting. Like you guys clear, I think if someone wants to be a degenerate and throw their money away, they should be allowed to do it. You know, I think if you have your family, you should probably think about them first before you do it. And if you don't, well, the consequences will meet you where you are at, you know.
Or just get up off your ass and go to a casino. Like if you want to be an old geezer, like go to a casino and play some baccarat and like bet your whole life savings on the dragon.
See, that's what disincentivizes them. They have to go to Vegas or go to a reserve, you know, and find the casino there. Or if it's legal in their state, they just pull up their phone and bam, they got access to it right there, you know. So what do you guys think about these leagues taking these sports betting deals? I feel like it adds to the addiction, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. For sure. Like it's marketed so well that like people kind of just don't even think about it as like, I don't know. I think I wouldn't say as big, but it's pretty bad. Like the opioid crisis, like it's pretty widespread. Because I mean, I've gone to a casino, I played baccarat. When I do well, like I think the last time I went, I like was up like $90, and like I was ready to leave, so I was like, all right, let's leave. It's time to leave. All right, so we're leaving. I'm ready to go cash out, but then I'm just like, let me place one more bet. Like, let me place one more bet. Like it can't hurt, and then I'll lose some money, and I'll be like, fuck. I gotta get my money back. That's when I kind of started feeling like the whole like, okay, yeah, I could see why this stuff kind of gets addictive, and so that's why I kind of stay away from the whole sports betting. But it's marketed very well, so
and with them taking these deals, like it's only giving more awareness, more exposure to these sites that exist. Like I only knew about DraftKings because, like I said, I played fantasy games, but now because of the NFL, I know about, like you said, Prize Picks. I know about FanDuel. I know Fansiders. You know, like these different websites, and I'm like, there doesn't have to be so many. But ever since it became legal, like now there's a market for it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I do think that these leagues shouldn't be allowed to take the money from these sites, especially if they're going to hold their players to these rules. Right? Like we see these players getting banned, their lives and careers are being ruined because they are participating in something that their leagues are indulging in, that they're profiting off of. And I don't really think that's fair. Do you guys think that these leagues should take deals from these fan betting sites like FanDuels and Bets, Stake, you know, all these casino type deals?
At the end of the day, business is business. So, I mean, it really doesn't matter how you get your money. I'm not going to knock anybody's hustle. Like, if they want to scam people and fucking get Jake Paul to call you a bum on TikTok for not betting your whole life savings away, then, I mean, go for it. But other than that, like, why not? It's money. It's money.
Yeah.
What about you,
I mean,
Jake?
why not have the choice of making more money? So, yeah, I think so.
I'm in agreement with you guys only if if these leagues change their rules on gambling, and the NFL has like recently they made a rule change. I didn't get to take a look at it, but they're trying to be more lenient about it because I think they understand if they are promoting gambling, there's going to be incentives for players to gamble too, and they can't have people like Patrick Mahomes or somebody of that same type of nature put bets down and then get banned for the rest of their life. They'll lose ratings that way. They'll lose interest in the league, but they're also going to try to maintain their integrity. But this is kind of why I think that if they're going to continue banning players for placing bets on the sport or betting in general, then I don't think they should take the deals because they're just putting the players in a bad spot and they're being hypocrites. You know, they're not protecting their players. They're saying it's rules for me, but not for thee. You know, So
the lifetime ban is crazy. Like
the lifetime ban is crazy.
You work your whole life to become a professional athlete, just to get it stripped away because you wanted to bet a parlay on yourself. I don't know, or on another player.
There's always the big three.
Yeah,
you know?
Or the Downey Rec League. There's an adult league that's out there that's just like for you, but
the Canada Basketball League. But it's that's what's crazy. Now he joins Pete Rose as in being banned for sports, and in the NBA lifetime bans he joins Donald Sterling from the Clippers. who got banned for being a racist.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you don't remember the story? So
I
it was like,
don't.
what, 2015, 2014,
Yeah.
when Donald Sterling, who was the owner of the Clippers, was outed as a virulent racist. How he
Oh, man.
he felt like he owned the players because he gave them these big contracts, and because they're being paid to play his sport, he's like, I give them houses, I give them cars, and he believed that he was entitled to their labor like slaves,
Wow.
and that's when there was this big old thing where when that came out, all of the players from the Clippers went to center court and they threw all their worms on the floor and they covered up the circle of the Clippers logo
Yeah.
as a statement saying that they didn't like Donald Sterling, and so they forced him to sell. The NBA forced him to sell to Steve Ballmer, who's the new owner now, and then Adam Silver, who was on the first few months on the job as NBA commissioner, announced that Donald Sterling was banned for life from the NBA.
Oh, man.
They caught his ass with audio recordings. I think his wife caught him. Like,
Oh, his wife?
yeah,
caught him?
like leaked
Talking to
audio.
his mistress,
Yeah,
who's
yeah.
black,
Damn.
and she was also racist against black people.
Yeah, so it was just like this whole like rabbit hole of racism, just like this raception. Raception.
There
She
you
was
go.
like, "Oh, black people are lazy. When they get money, they'll put it on their rims. They don't use it for their children." It's like, this lady's
outrageous
nuts.
man.
stuff. Outrageous stuff.
It's
It's like
crazy.
Uncle Ruckus on here.
Yeah,
Literally,
Uncle Ruckus.
literally.
That's right. That's right.
We hate racists on this side. Just
All my homies hate racists.
literally.
But yeah, so that's been going on in the sports world. There's one more casualty of this of these sports debacles. Do you guys remember Yasiel Puig?
Yes,
From the
yes,
LA
yes,
Dodgers?
Yeah.
He was last on the Cincinnati Reds. He's now in Mexico. He's playing for the Mexican leagues.
Kenny Powers.
Kenny Powers.
Mexico.
He's also caught up in. He's being accused of gambling. There's an article here from CBS News that says former Dodger Yasiel Puig pleads not guilty to federal charges in sports betting case. And this case is wild because he pled not guilty, then he pled guilty, and then he pled not guilty again because some conflict with his lawyers. So it says 3 months after Yasiel Puig withdrew a plea agreement in an illegal sports betting case, the former Major League Baseball outfielder pleaded not guilty Saturday in federal court to 2 charges: making false statements and obstruction of justice. If convicted on all counts, he could face up to 10 years behind bars, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Puig, now 32, plays professional baseball in, this is an old article, South Korea. Trial date is set for April 25th in Los Angeles federal court. The ball player's lawyer, civil rights attorney Ben Crump, always on the case, Ben Crump. Others were on hand Saturday afternoon in front of the courthouse downtown, where they discussed their theory that bias affected federal investigators' assessment of Puig's credibility as a witness, especially when compared with non-black witnesses. Yasiel was not running a gambling ring. The 6 people running the gambling ring have been charged, Crump said. But Yasiel has gotten more of a press statement and release from this office from the people who were committing the heinous crimes they were targeting. Puig's defense attorneys contend that racial bias ultimately led to the decision of their charge. Their prosecutors have refused to discuss the matter with the defense or provide information that would further show its patterns and practices when it comes to interviewing and charging black men with versus similar situated non-black persons. According to prosecutors, Puig began placing bets on games in May 2019 through an unidentified man who worked on behalf of an illegal gambling business run by Wayne Nix, 46, of Newport Coast. Within a month, Puig's losses reached $282,900. In January of 2022, federal investigators interviewed Puig at the presence of his lawyer. During the interview, despite being warned that lying to federal agents is a crime, Puig allegedly lied several times. Including when he said he never discussed gambling with the bookie, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. In fact, Puig discussed sports betting with the man hundreds of times on telephone and via message.
He's burnt out. He's burnt.
They're like, is this you? No, it's not. Well, this is your phone number, isn't it? It was. But that's not me anymore. And I lost the phone way before those text messages say that they were. When was the date? It's in April. Well, I lost that number way before April. So
Like,
you know,
make up your fucking mind, yeah. Come on, like, your life's at stake and can't even tell a lie correctly.
Nix, the man Wayne Nix, pleaded guilty in April to 1 count each of conspiracy to operate an illegal sports gambling business and filing a false tax return. His sentence hearing is on schedule for June 7th. Puig was charged in November with 1 count of making false statements and agreed to plead guilty, but he later announced he had withdrawn from the plea deal. The plea agreement was non-binding until he formally entered his plea before a federal judge, which he had not done yet. He said, "I want to clear my name. I never should have agreed to pleading guilty to a crime I did not commit."
Yeah, dumbass. I could have told you that. He needs
Like,
lying for dummies.
You're like, I don't have a law degree, but you don't plead guilty before talking to a lawyer.
What an idiot.
Puig, who also played for the Cincinnati Reds and the Cleveland Guardians, is now expected to go forward to trial. In a statement at the time the ballplayer withdrew from the plea agreement, his attorney said significant new evidence had come to light. At this time of his January 2022 interview, Mr. Puig, who has a third grade education,
No wonder.
I think we can tell now. We
Yeah.
can tell. Had untreated mental health issues and did not have his own interpreter or legal criminal counsel with him at the time.
That's a good play. I'd pull the mental illness.
Oh,
It's,
man.
he's incompetent to stand trial, Your Honor. That's gonna be the defense. He was coerced by law enforcement is another defense. We have reviewed the evidence, including significant new information, and have serious concerns about the allegations made against Yasiel. So once an LA icon, an LA legend, is now going down as a degenerate with a third grade education. for sports gambling, for sports betting, and you just hate to see it. You hate to see it. You think that by now, he would still be in the league because apparently he's still relatively good, maybe as a role player. But I'm assuming we have a spot for him over on the Angels. But I don't know if we want to deal with that. We just got rid of Ohtani. I often have a conspiracy that it was Artie Moreno, the owner of the Angels, who let the cat out of the bag. That Ipe Mizuhara was in on this. He just called ESPN. He's like, "I got a tip for you," because ESPN says they got a tip about this, and I'm assuming it was Artie Moreno. Like, I know what's going on with Mizuhara, and he did it because Shohei left the Angels. So that was a way to get him
And he
back.
took down a lot of people.
Matthew Boyer, our boy, Matthew Boyer,
Oh, man, he got caught in the crossfire too.
who was also a degenerate.
Is moving to Mexico the move after heinous crimes committed?
I mean, it's out of the jurisdiction, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna have to go through a lot for extradition. But I feel like Ipe Mizuhara will probably just go back to Japan. He'll hide out in Tokyo where he says he lives, but we can't find any record that he lives in Tokyo.
Oh man, they're probably gonna deny him too.
They're gonna extradite him back over here.
Yeah.
And Matthew Boyer, I feel like Matthew Boyer is the kind of guy to fight it. He's gonna stay in and try to
Yeah, 'cause
fight
he
it.
didn't even want to be a part of it, right?
Matthew Boyer?
Yeah.
No, he's the one who he was like,
He was the one who helped him.
yeah,
Take all that money.
he's like, Shohei is my client. You didn't say Shohei's interpreter is my client. He's like, Shohei is my client. And how he owes those casinos with over $2 million.
Yeah, over $2 million. He owes real estate agents.
Yeah.
He got to invest another $2 million.
Doing too much.
He went bankrupt like twice in 2011.
And he caused those people to go bankrupt too.
Yeah.
Play Monopoly in real life.
This is insane.
Do you guys think like a superstar player like LeBron James? Like, I would imagine that the easier way for like a player of that status could get away with like the whole gambling
Oh
thing. Like,
yeah.
if they would ask like his son Bronny, like, hey Bronny, I'm LeBron James. Bet $21 million on me. I'm about to score 30 tonight. Like, do you think that there's a rule against that, like betting within the family? Like, if you have a family member that plays in the league and you bet on the family member, is that?
Yeah, it actually. So when we were gonna do part 2 for the Shohei story, there was a great article I read from the LA Times that was gonna discuss Shohei's legal exposure to, because the story with Ipe is he said, "Oh, Shohei paid my bets for me. Like, he paid it off for me.
Yeah.
He didn't know I was doing it, but he did it, and I'm thankful for that." So the crime that he would be committing was aiding and abetting in a felony. So
Right.
so even if LeBron did that for a family, if there's no evidence that LeBron put the bets himself, but this person was the middleman, then at any case he might be with like aiding and abetting a felony. They'll try it. I don't know if it would succeed. That really depends on the evidence. But there is always a way that they will charge you with something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Light work, no reaction.
Yeah. But that is our slight continuation, our continuing coverage of what's going on with sports betting degeneracy,
Yep.
Ipe Mizuhara, and now Jonte Porter. They're all going down, and
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what this year holds for more sports degeneracy.
Shout out 1-800-GAMBLER. Oh, man. Call that number. Some of y'all gotta call that number.
I'm gonna put it in the description. Link to 1-800
Link to
Gambler.
1-800-GAMBLER. If you gotta call that motherfucker, call that motherfucker.
Oh,
So-
man.
So now let's get to know KosherNine a little bit.
KosherNine.
Joshua brought you up
Mhm.
last week as a frequent collaborator of him. So he told us the story of how you guys met.
Yeah.
How did you guys meet? I want to hear from your perspective.
Yeah, so I would assume that we've had pretty similar stories. So I went to school with one of my good friends, Gucci.
Yeah.
A recurring character.
Yeah, recurring character. As long as you guys have us here, you might hear Gucci one
Many
or another.
times.
So yeah, shout out Gucci. But so I went to high school with Gucci, and like I remember I was in the locker room. And Gucci was like, "Hey, like, have you heard of Joshua the Militant?" And I was like, "No." And keep in mind, like, I really wasn't taking music seriously. Like, I'll get more into that like as we talk. But he kind of just told me about Josh, and I was like, "Oh yeah, let me check him out." I checked him out, and like immediately I was just like, "Oh yeah, I gotta hit him up. I gotta see what's going on with Joshua the Militant." And that's how we kind of just linked up. I think I don't know who reached out to who first. I think Gucci kind of connected us both, and then from there we just created our own ways. In this music
One of my
shit.
favorite tracks is "Round of Applause."
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that
round up
goes
applause.
hard. Yeah.
I do like that
appreciate it.
fraudulent one.
Oh, fraudulent. Yeah, I
read
appreciate
on
that.
that one.
No, yeah, that shit fire.
I'll
That
listen
shit
to that
fire.
over and over, man.
Yeah.
That's a
I
good
appreciate.
song.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was one of the first songs you guys collaborated together with?
Shit.
Because how long have you been doing this for?
I've been doing this. So I've been doing this for about like since my freshman year. So that'd be like about like 6 years.
6
7.
years.
But I completely like rebranded myself. Like
Mhm.
I had like multiple eras in my music, and like I feel like as an artist, you kind of you should expect different eras. And like this is what I always tell like up and coming artists. Like you're gonna have eras where you're not, where who you think you are at the time is not who you're gonna be in the future. And so like when I was making music, I realized like this isn't. I was making like West Coast type stuff, like just kind of falling into like the whole category of like just like LA rap, and like I realized that like if you kind of like center yourself or like just surround yourself with a certain environment, you could get captured or swallowed into that environment. So I didn't want to do that. So I completely rebranded and just kind of cleaned my slate. But regarding Josh and I think. I'm sorry. What was
The first song you guys collaborated.
Yeah. So the first song, I believe it was The Devil's Rejects. It was called The Devil's Rejects. Yeah, I think it was called The Devil's Rejects.
That's a banger song name.
Yeah. Josh, don't hate me if that's not the first, but it was one of the first. It was one of the first, and we were just recording in my garage with the MacBook and a little audio box, like $200 audio box, and like my mic.
The come up, right?
And as you were saying, not wanting to get swallowed up, within all these other rappers too. Was there a pivotal point in your life that really like helped you establish yourself?
Yeah, I'd probably say like 2019 to like 2022, like
those COVID years.
Yeah. So once COVID hit, like I was a pretty bad kid, like, and I was just kind of like. I was crashing out. I'm not gonna lie. Like the streets were closed. There was like curfew that I felt the need to break or whatever. No, but I just kind of like hit rock bottom, and I was just kind of doing a bunch of stuff that kind of like embarrassed myself, and I just really wasn't feeling like the person that I thought I was.
Yeah.
And so I just, those years, like I really had time to grow as a person and kind of think about how I want to make myself perceived to a certain type of audience, or like to just people around me. I don't want to be a crash out, like just an East LA crash out sound by rapper, like, oh, there goes getting KosherNine, like walking down Whittier on some like,
Man.
yeah, that's not what I wanted. So I've kind of strayed away from that as I've grown up.
Right.
Would you say that has also matured your music as you mature as a person?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Like there was, I used to rap about that, like just completely made no sense. And it's just like, I'm so glad that I kind of strayed away from that and just kind of stayed true to myself. Like I don't try to be anybody no more. I just kind of.
Right. How about as a person? You know, seeing yourself back then, do you feel like you grew in the way you wanted to?
Yeah. Actually, I feel like if I was able to go back in time and kind of like talk to myself, like my older self would be bricked up. Like, oh my God, I can't believe like I'm like doing a podcast or like just being on streaming platforms, headlining a show, like that like people dream about.
And let's not forget being in a small short film.
Oh, yeah, that's fun too. Shout out Joe. He's actually, I haven't said anything yet, but I guess I'll announce it during this podcast. I'm actually making Sinner the movie, or like short film. So that's
so you're getting into this director business too, huh? You're trying to compete with Josh?
No, not in that way. It's just more of like it's like a music video, but I kind of I don't want it to be a music video. I feel like everybody out here does like music videos. I kind of want like a more cinematic type of
right.
Like, 3-song type.
Oh, is this like a visual album type thing? Like,
yeah. Because I feel like the album that I dropped, Sinner, it's a 20-song album, and I like to refer to it as an experience. Like I don't like you can't just listen to it like on shuffle and like just you have to kind of I made it top to bottom, like 20 songs, like for a reason. Like you have to sit and listen, like everything flows into one another. The story builds up perfectly, and it's an experience. Like it's basically like my diary, my journal. Like,
is there a reason you chose Cyrillic for the font?
Yeah, so I'm a Call of Duty player.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So one day I was just thinking about Makarov and his no Russian mission, and I was just like, you know what? And honestly, I'm a Lil Tracy fan too, and Lil Tracy likes writing a lot of cryptic messages in Russian. So I kind of just like took inspiration from that and just. You know,
because a lot of people use the kanji, or they'll use hiragana from Japanese.
Yeah.
But you're like, no, we're going Russian.
Yeah, Russian, because I feel like it's more like badass. Like you see Russian and you think like big buff bald dude.
Snow everywhere.
Yeah, snow everywhere. Just and fighting a bear. Yeah, just like beating a bear's ass. Like,
if you look at these Russian videos, they have like the whole like vibe to it. It's like this whole like ominous kind of looking little vibe to it. It's kind of cool.
Like, hello, my name is Dmitry. I'm shooting guns at crocodiles today. Like, I don't know. It was cool to me. And actually, I do have it's Sinner, so it's Greshnik. Greshnik, yeah.
Oh, nice.
So it's Sinner in Russian, and I actually have that tattooed on my chest.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's where it kind of came from too. Like I have it tattooed on my chest, so I might as well just title it.
So where did the idea for Sinner come from?
Heartbreak.
Oh, it's always heartbreak.
Yeah, it's always heartbreak. I don't want to dive too much into that. I'm gonna give what's her face clout. I don't know. I don't.
If you want to hear more about it, you listen to Sinner.
That's you listen to Sinner, and then you can listen to Sinner. You want to know more about that. So basically, I was just from 2019 to like 2021. I was in a relationship. 2022, like I wouldn't even call it a relationship now. It's just like up and down, toxic.
Whirlwind romance.
Yeah, just like I was so high that like I didn't even realize how bad of a situation I was putting myself in, and it was some. So instead of just like kind of crashing out and like going on Whittier Boulevard and just fighting everybody that I can, like I just make music and just put it like my side of the story.
Right.
Out there. And doing that, I was kind of hesitant about that because like it's so personal. Like I didn't really feel comfortable at first sharing that with everybody else. But then I was
Right.
just like, you know what? Like there's probably a story about me that's
Out there.
that's out there, and
Yes.
so it's like might as well just
The Tumblr
share my
post, you know?
literally
Yeah.
like a spam post like
Yeah.
oh my god my man
Yeah.
he's so toxic
Yeah, I was gonna say the difference is like girls they'll drop like Twitter threads, you know, like those
Yeah.
those twit longers, and then guys drop rap albums, you know.
no
rap
yeah
albums.
literally yeah so
Oh man.
I had to one up her just
Oh, yeah.
drop a fucking 20 diss
yeah.
tracks on her
That's
like
You put it on a
awesome.
beat, you know.
yeah but no I don't want to give her too much credit like there's multiple women that I wrote about it
It's about multiple.
yeah it's about multiple women yeah
You know, you're like you ain't the only one special.
Yeah, so-
But so what made what made you want to do it as a visual album? Like what was the difference between this project and the other ones you've done that made you want to put it on video, like put it on not just on wax but on tape?
Yeah, I'm kind of narcissistic in in the sense that I just want like some that I could watch and like I could show my kids like, oh, look what your dad was doing. Like your dad was. So I want to have something for my kids in the future to like tell them like, yeah, I was struggling. Like I was a teen once too. I think building a relationship with any of your kids like is a big like me and my dad. We have such a strong bond. I kind of want to create something visual for my kids to kind of like learn from my mistakes, and that's kind of like why I make music too. I'd rather take the risk so that other people could learn from my mistakes.
Right,
So,
right.
which is I could see how it could be portrayed as something bad, but I see it as I'm doing a service for younger like my siblings or just anybody that's going through the same I was going through at the time.
Yeah, because it might be hard to be relatable if it's like if the guy who's saying exactly what you're saying is telling this to kids, but he's like 45.
Yeah.
You know, and there's no disrespect to 45-year-olds, but kids of that age are kind of hard headed.
No, yeah, definitely.
And they need someone who's their age to kind of like relate that message to them.
Yeah.
So I respect that. You know?
Yeah, mental health is big for me. Like I feel like that's such a key aspect in life. Like just making sure your mental health is good, making sure your brain is right. Because if not, then.
And that's kind of a stigma for men, I'd say. Like talking about your mental health, talking about being all right or being okay. It's we're often taught that we have to be strong, like just talk about keep it to ourselves, no one else's business. And if you've got something wrong, if you're feeling away, then there's something wrong with you. It's not like it's a failure of morals and not really a failure of like just genetics.
It's kind of like keeping up with like social norms.
Literally,
yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with being vulnerable. Like just feeling down, feel down, and just let it all out, and then keep that pushing. Literally.
You just can't let it stop you. You know, you can feel the feels, but you can't let it stop you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like
that's right.
there's a clip from Macho Man Randy Savage. There's a clip, maybe you guys have seen it, where he's talking about being vulnerable, and it's like during a promo, and he's like, has Macho Man cried? Of course Macho Man has cried.
Yeah.
Macho Man has cried 1,000 times, and you know what? Macho Man will cry 1,000 more. But he's not going to let that stop him from achieving his goals and being a great man. You know?
Yeah.
It's like that's real talk right there for men that who need to hear that. You know, there's nothing wrong with being vulnerable. Like you said, there's nothing wrong with feeling the way that you feel. You just can't let it hold you back from doing what you need to do.
Yeah, and that's why I'm trying to create this persona that's kind of like that kids could kind of look upon and be like, you know, if KosherNine is able to be vulnerable and still kind of make music the way he does and kind of still push through life, like I kind of want to be like that too. Like I just want to inspire kids to just like no matter what they're going through, just no matter how much hate or how much sadness that they're fucking feeling, like just push through it. Don't be Logic and make a make a whack song about it.
And the song's title has aged now. I don't know if you guys know, but that number for his song is no longer the number.
Oh, I bet I would have taken it down. I would have gotten rid of too.
It's now 988. That's the new number you call if you're having a mental health crisis. There was a podcast with that as the name, but now it's called Decline. It's from Lemonada Media. I love that podcast. It was like 4 episodes long. But I'd say give it a listen, but it is pretty heavy. So if you guys have trigger warnings, careful. Yeah. If you're gonna shout out to Lemonada Media. So we talked about the album in multiple ways. How are you gonna translate the album to the show at Our nighttime is our time.
Yeah.
You have any plans, any ideas? What can we expect from the show?
Yeah, so I mean, I think you guys should be in for a very ominous, eerie
Okay.
time. I feel like if you're not very open-minded and you're kind of scared of scary things, then don't go. But I mean, you're gonna have a fun time just in general. I mean, I have a couple EPs out. I have one EP out with shout out Rando. Without Rando, my engineer brother at first, like my music wouldn't be sounding the way it sounds. Like he does all my he produced Solace Sinner, he produced Buried, like he made all the beats for Buried. So him and I are just like super connected. So like shout out to Rando. Without him, like KosherNine wouldn't even be what KosherNine is right now.
So you're telling me you're gonna have a seance on stage? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I would like to. I would like to. I would like to. If the venue allows it, then.
And how are you feeling about it? You say this is your debut, right?
Yeah, so this is my first time ever performing, and it's funny because I did have a chance to perform at a party when I was
no.
yeah, it was like a function, like a kickback. I was so hyped up, like I wore like my best fit, whatever. Like I was trying so hard at the time, feeling myself. I get to the show. I know the DJ. Me and the DJ are cool, and the DJ starts playing the song. I'm about to perform, and the cops come to the party, and so like I knew the girl that was throwing it, and her friend didn't like me because her friend knew that I was kind of like leading this girl on, and kind of using her to perform at the party.
Oh no!
And
at least he's honest.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I will never lie. Never. But yeah, the cops came. They told me to shut down the music. The cops didn't. The girl's friend told me to shut it down. And me being me at the time, I told the DJ, spin that bag. He starts playing the song again, and I grab the mic and I go, "Hey, fuck the cops!" And like it's loud, like there's speakers and everything. And the girl comes back and she chews me out. She's like, "Who the do you think you are? Like, why are you screaming this into the mic? Like, we're trying to have a good time. Like, no one's trying to listen to you. Like, just some bullshit." And I was just like, "Oh, you're lame, man." The whole crowd was booing her. And so like, but I'm glad that kind of happened because I wasn't ready. I probably would have crashed out on stage. I probably would have ended up in that fucking cop car. No,
that would have been the end of KosherNine.
Literally.
So you could dodge the bullet, I guess.
Oh yeah. So now that I have this opportunity to perform, shout out Banks. He kind of set up the whole thing, and had, what's the word? He had pride in me.
Right.
Yeah, he
believed.
He had faith in me. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. He had faith in me, and I just appreciate that.
So where can people find tickets to the show? And when is it?
You can find it on Eventbrite. I believe it's Eventbrite.nighttime is our time. I think that's what you Google. But the Eventbrite link is in my page. It's on Heaven or Vegas' page. Shout out Heaven or Vegas. I believe you guys will have the links to everything.
Yeah, we do. All the links into the description. But for the people who don't read the description, I just want to put the URL out there because some people just don't like to read. You know.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's not an insult to the audience. I don't really read descriptions either. You know, and then usually like ARGs are starting inside of the description.
Yeah.
Where you're reading weird things and you miss out on a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
if you do read the description, everything will be linked there below. If not, then you can Google Eventbrite. Nighttime is our time, and it'll show up. So let's plug some of your socials, man. Let's run these numbers up. Where do we find your stuff?
You can find me, first and foremost, you can find me on Apple Music, Spotify, all streaming services really, at KosherNine. Find me on Instagram at KosherNine, and I do stream from time to time. I stream Outlast Trials on Twitch.
You do the horror game?
Yeah, I love horror. I love horror shit. So if you want to see some Outlast Trials, twitch.tv/KosherNine.
So you're going through a horror phase right now?
I love horror. Like I love horror.
So you're gonna make a horrorcore album? Or
I actually do have something that's horrorcore-esque that I made with Rando. It's called Snuff. I haven't released it, but it's called Snuff. Yeah, no, that's hard. That's hard.
Oh my goodness. So last week we talked about Four Corners. I want to show we showed a clip from Four Corners. I want to show another clip because you're the main star. You're like the lead star. Steve Bimbo. This is your acting debut too. A lot of firsts for you in these recent years.
Awesome.
So first let's just say how was it working with on Four Corners? This is your acting debut. Do you have any acting classes? Any
I
experience?
loved it, honestly. I really do enjoy acting. I've done some plays when I was younger.
Okay.
I wanted to be It's funny because like I'd have a lot of acting friends. Like one of my old friends from middle school, he's Blue Beetle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, shout out
Oh,
Sholo.
no
Yeah,
way.
That's crazy.
yeah, he's Blue Beetle, and like the way him and I met each other is because we went to Elser in middle school together, and people would confuse him for me and me for him. Like at the time, like
Right.
at the
At the
time,
time, you
like people
looked
would
the
call,
same.
yeah, and he's like, bro, they keep calling me like by your name, and I was like, bro, they keep calling me by your name, and then we just kind of linked up like that. But yeah, so I've kind of always wanted to be, not wanted to be an actor, but I've always kind of wanted to like indulge a little bit in the whole like acting type stuff because I mean it kind of came natural to me. I liked it. I don't know.
So the lines, was that hard for you to remember?
No, I think I had a pretty good time in memorizing the lines. I think I did a pretty good job of it. And Josh kind of gave me like the space to kind of improvise and kind of change things to make it feel like more KosherNine-esque. So
I was
like,
about to ask how much of C Bimble's lines was KosherNine?
yeah. So I mean, a lot of it was. Not a lot of it. I like to stick to the script, but having a good partner to act with, I feel like the conversation kind of flowed freely, and I was just kind of, whenever I was able to implement some KosherNine in there, I would implement some KosherNine in there. But for the most part, I try to be C Bimbo, and as you can tell, like I act like much harder than I am in person.
Right.
But yeah, it was just
All right, so let's take a look at the clip of Four Corners with KosherNine.
Button pops off. I just really want to make it big, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, well, I'm excited to work with you.
Two.
Hey, who the screaming? Y'all woke me up.
What's up, C?
Out my seat, Billy.
No, but
Out my seat, Billy. I don't got time for this shit today, big bro. Come on. So you're the one with the Grizzly picture.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool for big time now or what?
I mean, kinda.
Yeah, I would too. Type shit.
before you walked in, we were talking about vocal presets and.
But don't you got some other shit to do in the, feel me? You got some, yeah. Appreciate you, bro. Actually, Sydney, I had this beat that I think that you would really like.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's obviously like natural in that.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one was C Bimbo and which one was KosherNine right there.
Here's the thing. I don't think I was originally. I don't think I was supposed to kick him out of the seat. I
that
think I
was
supposed to-
KosherNine right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, that was just kind of like. I see. Like I think he was supposed to have a beanbag chair, and like he was supposed to like chill in the beanbag chair, but we just kind of like kick him out, just bully him. And Victor was cool about me bullying him. So I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, I really liked that the dynamic between you and Victor for that film. I thought it was great. Originally, I was supposed to be the editor on it, but things happened. I was caught up in my own projects. But I thought you did a great job. Congratulations, man.
I appreciate that.
Congratulations on everything you've done so far. You know, the show that's going on and being here. Pat ourselves in the back. Yeah.
Round of applause. No pun.
Round of applause. We're gonna put that the Five Nights at Freddy's.
That's funny.
So before we close the show,
Okay.
we have our favorite segment that we do every week. Every week we head to Florida
Florida.
Yeah, let's
for
go.
some fun times with some fun criminals, I would say. So today my Florida man story is a little related to what we talked about earlier. It's from Legal Sports Report,
Yeah.
and it is about gambling. It's about sports betting. So Florida man scammed millions from people in sports betting scheme. It says U.S. authorities arrested a man Wednesday for allegedly bilking, never heard that word,
Bilking.
for allegedly bilking more than $25 million from victims in a sports betting scheme on supposedly fixed games. Corey Zeidman was indicted by the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of New York for conspiracy to commit wire fraud, mail fraud, and money laundering conspiracy. He faces a forfeiture of at least $25 million and another $750,000 from bank accounts and 3 properties.
Bro built the out of. Out of.
According to the indictment document, Zeidman and his Phoenix organization, including at least one other co-conspirator, placed radio ads throughout the U.S. advertising their sports betting services. The ads suggested a sophisticated white-collar approach to gathering sports information and categorized it as investing, not high-risk gambling.
Wow.
When victims would call the advertised number, though, they were told certain sports events were fixed. Zeidman and other co-conspirators claimed they knew the outcome of the events through privileged and inside information given by team doctors and TV executives. Victims were required to pay a fee to obtain this information, which, unbeknownst to them, was either fictitious or obtained from an internet search by a defendant and his co-conspirators. Many victims lost their life savings.
I know that Discord was hot.
Yeah.
The Discord was there, and they're like, I got the. How many picks am I gonna lose this week?
And then there are the hodlers, like, no, it's gonna happen, it's gonna come through, you know.
Trust the process. Trust the process.
Trust the process. The Department of Homeland Security asks anyone who believes they were a victim to call the number 1-866-347-2432. Zeidman had many aliases, including Richard Barnes, Ray Palmer, and Gordon Howard. Company names include Gordon Howard Global, Ray Palmer Group, and the Grand Sports International. Google searches do not return much information on the company names. One exception is a WordPress site titled Ray Palmer is a Scam, with 2 posts from February 2012 calling out Ray Palmer Sports Group. They give bad picks after promising to be the best sports betting company in the business. Please don't fall victim to them. Spread the word to other sports bettors. Allegedly, he used proceeds for poker. Zeidman allegedly did buy more than just houses and go on international vacations with the funds.
Pro Bilker.
Pro
Bilker.
He also used the funds in poker tournaments. U.S. Attorney Breon Peace said that included a World Series of Poker bracelet back in 2012. Today's indictment serves as a reminder to all of us to be wary of so-called investment opportunities that purport to have inside information that are usually a gamble not worth taking.
That's crazy. Just waking up like, today I'm gonna some people's lives. Today I'm gonna
That's crazy.
Yeah.
and then go on vacation.
Oh, man.
I thought I was a narcissist.
It's always the gambling investment bookies that are the most
It
narcissists.
is.
Yeah.
You look at Matthew Boyer, what he did with the money. You look at this guy. That's insane. This guy has the utmost confidence of anybody I've ever seen. Just gets 25 mil, goes on vacation with it.
It's like Forex traders got tired of like not making any money.
Yeah.
Just started a prize picks
Bullshit.
club.
That's crazy. That's
Oh,
my
man.
Florida man
Fucking
story.
Florida.
You try to keep it thematic. Jay, what's your Florida man
You know,
story?
mine's always goes off of the theme. It's always random. It's always dummies being dummies in Florida. So here's mine. Mine says, a Lakeland man hides in drawers, uses whiteboard to evade deputies, man. Let me cut that up. There's a picture of it. This guy has a whiteboard. He drew he's not there. That's some cartoon right there, dude. Like, who does that?
That's like in Metal Gear. Is it
The
Metal Gear Solid?
cardboard
The
box?
cardboard
Yeah.
box? Snake is in. He's like, no one will never revive in here.
And they never do.
Yeah, what the?
So let's see. Lakeland, Florida. A Lakeland man tried to evade deputies through unconventional means when he tried to arrest him for aggravated battery. The sheriff's office said that about 2:45 p.m. Saturday, deputies went looking for Johnny Yates, 41, at a home on West 10th Street, only to be greeted by a whiteboard with a message that said, Johnny Yates does not live here. Right.
How small is that dude?
Yeah.
Fucking drawer.
Oh, man. Well, the deputies didn't think so. The sheriff's office said deputies saw a person leaving the home who told them that Johnny was inside with several other people.
Oh,
So he was still there. He didn't just put the sign. He
yeah,
was
the
still
whole
there.
fam there.
The whole family was over.
Hey, bro, can you put some cookies in there? Just drop a cookie in there, bro.
The deputy used a loudspeaker to command Yates to leave the home, but after about an hour, they used smoke to get the occupants to get out.
Smoke them out.
Yeah, literally, they hotboxed that thing. After still getting no response, deputy used a K9 to search the home. The sheriff's office said that the dog sniffed out Yates, who was hiding in a modified chest of drawers. He was a criminal arrest affidavit said that his arrest, Yates told deputies that he ate methamphetamines and blue pills.
Makes sense.
Yates and 4 other people who did not cooperate were arrested in the incident. So that's his story.
The thing is, he probably could have gotten away with it if he didn't put the whiteboard out.
Yeah, probably.
He thought he was on some like genius reverse psychology.
Yeah,
shit.
it's
Big
all the-
brain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
The
200
math,
IQ
huh?
play. Like, what
He thought it was like those letters you get and you write that you're not here and you send it and they stop mailing it to you. He
Yeah,
thought that's
yeah.
what, he thought it was gonna work like that with the
he
police.
unsubscribed from the police.
Yeah.
I wonder what the people in there were thinking when he was like shoving himself into some drawers.
Yeah.
Like, what the is this guy doing?
They're like, bro, you got it. Like, do you need anything? I got you. WD-40, butter. We'll get you in there.
He
Damn.
must have been the size of like an Oompa Loompa or something.
That's what I'm
right?
saying.
He's a
Like,
small
to fit in
man.
a fucking drawer, bro. Like, comfortably.
You know what? He also ate methamphetamines. Maybe he wasn't comfortable, but he didn't mind. You
He
know?
just-
Yeah, he did. Man.
He's like Squidward or like fucking Mr. Crocker from the Fairly Odd Parents when he just like
Yeah.
shoots into fucking letters and shit. Like,
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was my Florida man. You
that's
know.
wild.
Florida never fails.
Never
Florida
disappoints.
Never disappoints, man. We always we have the greatest time about reading about Florida stories. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally anything you can think of, Florida has it.
Yeah.
Every time we've done a theme episode, we find a Florida story on it.
No,
so.
that's fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Like the Star Wars episode, we got Star Wars Florida story,
Oh, yeah,
so
that's
it's
fire.
gonna be great.
Yep.
But so that was today's show, KosherNine. Thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate you being
Yeah.
here. Yeah, we really appreciate you with all your insight and joining us with our segments.
Mm-hmm.
And you have
Yeah.
anything you want to plug? We know you had to plug your socials. Anything else?
No, just stream KosherNine on all stream platforms. July 6th, nighttime is our time. Buy a ticket, come see me perform, and yeah, keep streaming my fucking music. I got more and more coming for you guys. Don't be scared or scared away from my Instagram because I don't post that much. Like I have it that's gonna be posted soon. Just wait on it.
Yeah,
Be patient.
everybody come on. KosherNine debuting July 6th.
Yes,
Nighttime
sir.
is our time.
Yes, sir.
And you can follow us on all social media platforms as TOTBENT everywhere. If you want to shoot us an email, if you want to request a guest, please reach out to us on our email, which is totbent.info@gmail.com, and we'll do our best to receive any guests that you might have in mind. And if they're a huge guest, then you have to pester them, not pester us about coming on the show.
Mhm.
You know, I think we'll have a good time. You can follow me on Instagram at Jeremiah Jordan TOTB.
And you can follow me at J_3_ on Instagram as well.
And that's everything we have for you guys today. We had a fun episode,
Yeah.
and we'll see you all next week.
Mm-hmm.
Bye bye.
Yeah. Check you out, man.